Yo, hello everybody, welcome back. It's Swish here with another Diablo 4 this time video, and for today video I just want to record my character just simply because I'm playing hardcore. Why I'm playing hardcore? The reason behind it is just simply, I don't know. I just want to play, and obviously I might be dead soon or not, hopefully not, so I just want to record some video, which we're just gonna do right now. Yeah, the reason behind playing the hardcore is, I guess, because I'm going to play this game for the rest of my life, so I just decided, okay, fuck it, we're just gonna play hardcore and just try it out right now. And then, if I'm going to be dead, I'm just going to swap to softcore. The bad thing about the hardcore is, well, it's hardcore. So yeah, that's the bad thing. But other than that, I have a great time playing Diablo 4. So yeah, just gonna do a review of my character. The fun fact about playing the game is it's not just one schematic. So we're not going to play just one build. Maybe later on, yeah, on the late game. But throughout creating our character, I had different builds on level 15, different builds on level 30. 45, and right now I have totally different build as well. So what I'm trying to say, it's just not only the one build. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm just going to show you guys like a skill tree. So for example, this is my build right now, but the way how it was built was like I was changing all the time. And I still do. I still tweaking some bits, so we're just gonna start off actually from the skill tree. So pretty much what I'm trying to say, every build and everybody will be building the character your own way. So there is no really points to copy that, because you have to feel how to build your character. If that make any sense. I mean, if you want to ask some questions, you can pop out on the Twitch stream. I'm doing Polish English stream, so feel free to join. But anyway, so we're just starting from the skills. So here doesn't matter because we're not going to use this one. We have like 1 point to the fireball, just to enchant fireball and to greater fireball, just basically. And the second modification giving us the additional direct damage, burning, so applying the burning damage. It's kind of good that additional burning damage goes with combustion, because your bursting effect deals 2% X increased damage per unique source of burning. So we have like one source of burning here, and that's the second source of burning. It's not much, but basically using the fireball as an enchantment to speed farm the mobs, because as you know, the modifier, excuse me, the enchant, fireball enchantment, when you kill an enemy, they explode in the fireball for 50% of its damage, so it's a burst damage, it's like a corpse explosion, which is really great. It's gonna move forward. Then I'm using the flame shield. It's hardcore, so I'm using the flame shield, which giving us the 50% of your missing life. And then we have the teleport, which been nerfed into the you gain 30% damage reduction for 3 seconds, was 5 seconds. Majority of the time I was using the ice armor, just recently decided to swap to the Nova, because Nova is giving us the vulnerable effect, and this effect is just basically smashing the mobs. Crazy good. Vulnerable for 4 seconds, increase to 6 seconds against bosses. So it's crazy good. Then I have 1 to ice blades, which we're swapping to ice blades playing against the boss. So pretty much that's going to apply the vulnerable effect on the bosses during the fight, and then when we speed farm we can go like that. In this build actually I can use the other variation and just go with the chain lightning. I will explain in a minute why is the reason. So you can actually go on the skill tree and just remove remove the fireball. So in order to remove that, we need to remove some skill from the skill tree before they remove the node from this one, because we need to have exactly 4 on this on this core tree. So what you're going to do, you can just remove like so, add to the chain lighting, and we can actually leave it. Or just remove this one and apply over there. So if we need the chain lighting, we can do like that. Why we need the 1 skill of chain lighting? Somebody might ask, like, what the fuck? Why you wanna? I'm just gonna explain this. So there's a node, Elementalist. It's fucking crazy good because dealing fire, cold, or lighting damage to an enemy increase all damage you deal to them by 5% X. So it's multiplicative. It's not additive. For 10 seconds, stacking once per element. So basically, what that means, when we use some kind of element, which is, for example, lighting, we're having our all damage multiply by 5% for 10 seconds. So basically, by adding the chain lighting over there, we can play chain lighting for automatically after spending 100 mana, which is constantly we're spending mana. So we adding that extra 5% damage into the equation, and altogether we have 15% damage because dealing fire, and we're dealing fire, dealing cold, or lighting damage to an enemy increase all damage you deal them by 5% X for 10 seconds, stacking once per element, which means it's 15%. So that's the best node for amplified damage because it's just giving you 15%, and there is none of this. And I will probably do some video explaining some stuff, like it's not really good. And there's one, well, there's lots of stuff here which is not really good, but just looks good because it's additive and not multiplicative. So basically what we want to use on the nodes, we want to use multiplicative all the time. Just gonna carry on with the skill tree. So I'm not using this right now in this scenario, so we're just gonna remove this one more time. Tricky situation, I know. So can we just go like so? Excuse me. Need to remove something. Do like that. Okay, so for speed farming fireball, we'll see that in this video, because I will do the gameplay after that. Flame shield, teleport, cannon glass I'm not using because it's hardcore. It's just, you can just receive some fatal damage. Then the frost nova, which I explained already. So blades for the boss. And then I'm just going to carry on with aligned elements, and then mana shield, and then protection. So we're just going to move forward into the blizzard and the firewall. As you can see, just level 1. I have an additional level from some item. And then we have the icy veil, which is your barriers have 5% increase, 5% plus increased duration. So obviously that's going to be powerful when we receive some items to the level. So everything which I done just 1 level into it, I'm just considering into the future to have more levels from the items, obviously. So the blizzard level 1, it's still powerful because as you can see, it's 132 damage and constantly chills enemies. So it's 4500. It's lots of damage. And then we have the enhanced blizzard, which blizzard is 25% X. So multiplicative increases damage to frozen enemies, and they are frozen majority of the time due to the fact we're using the Nova. So we can start the combo with Frost Nova and then just apply the Blizzard, and then Blizzard is already multiplicative. Then we can use Meteor. As you can see, I'm not using because later on or sometimes you can just remove the Fireball, and that's the other stuff. You can just apply the Meteor into the enchant slot. So that's the another variation of I've been using that, and it's alright, but I rather to use for speed farming fireball, and then for applying much more damage just putting the 1 point into the chain lighting. So yeah, And then when we put in here 1 point, we can remove fireball because we're not using that, and we can apply everything into. Excuse me. We can apply this point into the potent wording to have extra boost to the resistance. Okay, so just gonna move forward into the firewall. Firewall the same, just 1 level here because it's so powerful. It's, as you can see, 6,000 damage almost. We have the enemy stake 25% multiplicative increase burning damage from you while standing in firewall. So keep that in mind. So we can stand in our firewall and they will have much more damage applied. That's why when I'm fighting the bosses, especially, I'm just standing next to them. And then we have the Wizard's Firewall, which you gain 5% X increase mana regeneration per active firewall up to 25% multiplicative. And on this build, we don't really have mana like constantly. We're just using the mana, but it's all right. Then we are moving forward into the last part. So obviously the deep freeze, because deep freeze, it's, well, encase yourself in ice, become immune for 4 seconds. So we are immune for 4 seconds. And then we have the prime deep freeze. When deep freeze ends, gain 10% of your base life as a barrier. So it's not much, but for 6 seconds for each enemy you froze while it was active. No, it's actually a lot for each enemy you froze. I just thought the base life. Anyway, so it's great skill. So you just wanna pick this one when you're playing hardcore, obviously. And then Supreme Deep Freeze, when Deep Freeze ends, your non-ultimate cooldowns are reduced. So basically, we will have reduced for Frost Nova, for the teleport, and for the Flame Shield, which is great. So you can use this one, the Deep Freeze, and then we have every skill available to use. Then as you can see, I'm playing the fire and the cold scenario, so we're just using the modifiers to the cold and to the fire. So to the cold we are using the permafrost. Frost skills deal 15% multiplicative increase damage to allies. Great stuff. So obviously our blizzard is much more powerful. Then we're having the horror frost. You deal 9% multiplicative increase damage to chilled enemies, and every skill, doesn't matter, you don't need to be frost, you deal 9% multiplicative increase damage to chilled enemies. So as long as the enemies are chilled, the firewall even giving them more damage, and 18% multiplicative increase damage to frozen enemies, so the frozen majority of time, you will see in a minute. Icy touch, you deal 12% multiplicative increase cold damage to vulnerable enemies. So that's great because our enemies are most likely, through the casting the Nova, vulnerable, so we apply more damage. And then when we're fighting the boss, obviously he will be vulnerable from the Ice Blades. So the Ice Blades are gonna apply the vulnerable, and then Icy Touch gonna apply more damage. Then we're gonna move on with the fire. So we have the fire surge, killing a burning enemy, increase your mana regeneration by 10% plus for 3 seconds. That's obviously gonna be much more higher later on throughout the game due to the fact of getting more items. And then we have the endless fire, the increased burning damage to enemies for each second they remain burning, up to 15% X multiplicative after 5 seconds. So this is like huge, powerful, especially for fighting the bosses, because they will constantly get more damage applied. And then using the worm, every 1 second you will heal for almost 1% of your maximum life, so 30 for each nearby burning enemy. Healing increase to 1.8 from the bosses. So that's one thing we can consider. Obviously, when we testing or tweaking into some specific scenario during the game, so we can obviously remove some things, like for example, we're doing speed farming, so we can remove this one and apply into something else, but you have the idea. And the last but not least, actually I'm changing this all the time because there's no really specific way to play, but for speed farming I have so much damage, so but still we can use the shatter. So if you really wanna speed farm crazy, you can use the shatter. After freeze expire, enemies explode for 25% of the damage you deal to them while frozen. It's like fucking crazy good. But we can use combustion majority of time. Your burning effects deal 2% X increase damage per unique source of burn. So then we can try out to apply as much burning sources. So we might consider to use another extra fire damage in that case. So obviously the fireball, applying the burning source through the enchantment. We have the burning source from the flame shield. We have the burning source from the firewall. So there are 3. But if you really want to go with 4, why not? Because at the end of the day, well, I have 3, so I don't need to go much, but maybe that's a better example. If you have 2 sources, you want to go with 3, because if the enemy is burning from 3 or more sources, this bonus is doubled. So basically it's 4% times. But you need to use 3 sources of burning. So using 3 sources of burning actually in this build, believe it or not, fireball, fireball, and then we're using the flame shield. So, but you need to take that to consideration. Actually, you applying the stack of the burn from the flame shield. That's why in this build I'm really close to the enemies. And then we can even use in this build the avalanche, because we can use our blizzard for free, which is great. Your first skills have up to a 10% chance to make your next cast of ice shards, frozen orb, or blizzard, but we're casting only blizzard, so consume no mana and deal 40% multiplicative increase damage chance is doubled against vulnerable enemies. So but yeah, it's alright, but I guess maybe for different build, but still. And then the shock, not for this scenario. And we might consider also to use the SU ferocity. Your fire critical strike damage is increased by excuse me, by 25%. X multiplicative damage against enemies above 50% life. Fire critical strike damage is increased, but this is like super for the late game. You need to actually have lots of critical chance in order to have more damage from it. So you need to high chance and then high critical damage as well. Your fire critical strike chance is increased by 5+, but it's not multiplicative. So critical strike chance is just a little bit applied, but damage is huge. So this is good, but only good if we're actually applying some critical damage. So just gonna check this right now. Critical strike chance I have only 10%, so it's really small chance, so there's no reason to use that at all. Fire critical strike damage is increased, so I have increased damage, but we're not really applying that damage because we have low chance, so there's no reason to use that at all. So we're just gonna swap into the combustion, and pretty much that's the explanation of the skill tree. And believe me, it's right now, yeah, I'm using like that. We can call it endgame. We have the level 60 character, 61. I can call it endgame character because that's the build I'm using the majority of time when I'm playing. I also figure out the speed farming build, but for speed farming build, we're just only changing the items. We're not really changing skills a lot. I believe so. Do we need to change anything? For speed farming, we don't need to change anything. For applying more damage from the Paragon node, we can just put the chain lighting instead of fireball. But overall, I think the clearing speed with fireball is just much better speed than putting the chain lighting to have that extra 5% damage. Unless you wanna just min-max your damage output on the fighting the boss. So this scenario with actually removing the fireball have much more sense, because you have to keep that on mind. We are not going to be able to use that fireball during the fight with the boss. So basically, in other hand, it's just useless. So that's why on the boss it's good to use the ice blades. I might consider to check maybe some different node, but on this moment in time I'm using the Elementalist, because to have min-max damage from it you need to apply the third source of damage, which is lighting. So it's good, but maybe later on we're going to figure it out something better. Anyway, just gonna move forward into the items, and right now I'm using one item for the speed farming build, so just gonna swap this. Just give me a second, I'm just gonna prep the character right now. for the full damage output. So this is like so. Increase damage for each second you stand still. This is like super powerful damage. And then we are having increased critical strike chance. Critical strike chance against injure enemies. So we can put like so, and then when we have much more critical strike, we can actually consider to put the SU ferocity, because our critical strike damage is increased right now. Because I put that amulet, we actually have increased critical strike chance against injured enemies, and it's multiplicative. Shame it just roll is 50% because we can get 30%, but this is my source of putting extra damage. Unless I'm gonna use in this scenario maybe this legendary. This legendary amulet, which is giving us the 30% multiplicative damage when we're standing still. So when we're using that, we need to keep that in mind. We have to stand still majority of time, so it's not really good for speed farming, because that's going to slow our effect, unless we just don't care about this and just using on the scenario when we're fighting the boss. You have to keep that in mind. Also, when we're using the teleport, it's not counting as we're moving. I know it's crazy as fuck, but it's like so. I'm just going to explain maybe during this video. So we're just going to leave it like so. So this is my Bane build. I'm just going to explain right now what we are using. So I have Helm with the Wild Deep Freeze is active. You restore 50% of your maximum life and mana per second. So it's crazy good. We just having the all mana and life while we are immortal, basically using the Deep Freeze. And then I have Armor, which giving us you heal for 37 life per second for each close enemy, up to 147 life per second. Then we have the Gloves with deal 24% multiplicative increased damage while you have a barrier active, so pretty much all the time. And then we're having the Pants, which damaging an allied enemy grants you a barrier absorbing up to 1000 damage for 10 seconds. This effect can only happen once every 30 seconds. Then we're having the Shoes or Boots, becoming injured while crowd control grants you unstoppable for 4 seconds. This effect has a 28-second cooldown. So obviously you want to remove this for speed farming, and then you want to put Boots like so, because that's gonna give you the movement speed when you're using the teleport. But in this scenario we're just gonna play normal build. The next video I will do the speed farming build, and you will see the difference. It's a huge difference. Then we're using the amulet to boost our damage, but in order to be much more faster, we can use this one, which is the coming in contact with your firewall grants you 23% plus movement speed for 4 seconds. So that's great. Maybe I'm just going to do... I don't know which build I'm supposed to play right now. Anyway, and then we have 2 rings. So we have ring with you deal 25% X multiplicative more damage to immobilized star or frozen enemies, so they are frozen majority of time. And then we have when you cast a blizzard, it will periodically spawn explode ice spikes. Do I really need to use this here? Not really, but I'm using... I was testing and it's fine, so using that. Definitely we can choose something different to apply more damage. I'm just gonna take a look in a minute what we can put this. Your ice spikes deal 25% multiplicative increased damage to frozen enemies. So we can consider to change this damage into something else. I'm just gonna check right now. And then I'm using something to boost our damage. So it's not really... how to put it? The unique... secret unique stuff. The unique affix charge bolts. Obviously we're not using charge bolts, but we have 35% more damage to crowd control enemies. So they're all the time crowd control. We have 36 damage to close enemies. I'm close all the time. Almost 60% damage to injure enemies, and the lucky hit up to 5% chance to restore our primary resources. It's like, oh my god, this is like so powerful. And I decided to go with ultimate skill damage just simply because it's 13% instead of 6%, so I don't really bother about 6% more damage to fire damage. If I really want to go crazy with the fire, what you need to use this. Why enemies are affected by more damage over time than their total life. So basically when you're fighting the boss, you deal 32% multiplicative damage increased burning damage to them. So this is like whoa, this is crazy. So I can remove this, apply here, and basically my burning damage fighting on the bosses is like WTF. I'm not really removing that yet because I'm considering maybe to use this one to ranks to HR. Oh no, we're just going to remove this one. So yeah, so that's aspect we just need to remove and then apply for some re-ink in the future. And it's like super powerful on the bosses. It's going to be much more powerful than using the re-ink with the eye shards, which is where did I put that? Here, okay. So this is one of the tool which is like super crazy powerful, and I bet that wasn't on the beta, so why enemies are affected by more damage over time than their total life. So obviously for the mobs it doesn't work because they're going to burn out, but fighting the boss, oh my god, this is like jeez. Okay. So I'm just going to do gameplay right now. So obviously I have the items here for movement speed. I'm just trying to consider what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to record one video. I'm not going to do second video with the speed farming. But on the speed farming you have an idea. You're just putting everything on speed farming. So amulet. When you're coming in contact with your firewall, you have movement speed. You're putting the shoes. So basically, when you're using the movement speed, when using the teleport, you have more movement speed. And then pretty much those two items you're changing and you can play. We can just go like that. And it's going to be good. It's supposed to be good. More than 3000 life. Oh, we have some paragon point. I'm just gonna put I'm just going to the another node hopefully soon, so I'm just going to apply more damage and we'll just do some speed farming run. So just gonna check the skills again. Just going to put the fireball. Just give me a second, I'm just gonna drink the water. And before I start, you can jump guys to my Twitch. I'm doing Polish English content. I have two separate channels. This one is English, obviously, and then I have the Polish one. I'm just playing casually, despite the fact I'm a big fan and doing the YouTube videos. But if you want to jump and talk about the Diablo, just feel free. Just drinking water and carry on with the video. Okido. So just going to do some easy stuff, and by easy, tier 5 or maybe even less than tier 5 if I have some. No, I don't have it. So just gonna do like this, and then we just need to drink something before we do. Increase armor by 200 for 20 minutes. I'll be fine. Maybe just getting extra experience. Okay, whatever. So I'm just gonna do the tier 5. Which is here, apparently. I love it. Diablo 4, it's just for me. The way I building the character, it just oh my god. Just before I start, it's like you can just tweak everything. You're just playing 1 minute like so, and then you're just jumping into the skill tree, you're just changing something, you paragon nodes, you're changing something, you're constantly creating, modifying. It's like fucking amazing, guys, this game. It just, oh my god. So hopefully I will live to record the Polish video. Because if I'm going to die, I'm not. Just, you know, better safe than sorry. I just thought that thought crossed my mind. Actually, that's wrong playing hardcore at first. Just simply because if I'm going to be dead, I don't have a character to create the content. So, oh well. I'll just do another character, I guess. One more time on the softcore. So, we are here. Before I start the fight, just want to show you. So basically, we just playing the firewall on the ground, casting the firewall on the ground, and then we moving faster. But on top of that, when you're using the teleport, we're moving faster as well. And then when we're using the flame shield, we're moving faster as well. And you have to keep that in mind. We have to sometimes back into that crap here. There's going to be a bubble here, and then when we're standing in the bubble, we're not receiving the damage. When we're standing outside the bubble, we receive the damage. It's quite a bit, especially when during the fight. That might fucked up us badly. But other than that, we're fine. Okay. So, firewall on the ground, much faster. We are immune right now, so we don't care. Unless we're not. So I'm just going to carry on with the game, you know, the idea, so I'm just gonna do this. And just enjoy the game. I just wanna be focused because I'm playing the hardcore, so... Yeah, you have the idea, right? What's the hardcore, mate? Just die, just die. Oh my god. Hmm.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I lack the means. I need time. And out of mana. I need time. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
It's crazy good. This speed farming build is crazy good. It's fast. I like it.
I'm not ready yet. Out of mana. I'm not ready yet.
So pretty much, yeah, we're just running and applying everything accordingly. We're just pretty much casting everywhere. Where do I need to go? Over there? I don't get it. Oh, well there. I guess. Just was wondering what's going on.
I'm not ready yet.
Obviously, we're using the Flame Shield as the first enchantment, and believe it or not, I just triggered this once yesterday. So basically, what it does, Flame Shield automatically activate then when you take the fatal damage. So you can only apply it every 120 seconds. So this build is so consistent, so you don't really need to use this, but well, it's hardcore, so better safe than sorry. You have so much sources to be fine with it. Like, we don't really need to use that. Just wanna be close distance. We're applying more damage. And so the idea is to one firewall and one blizzard all the time. One blizzard right now, and then one firewall. And then when we have the rest of the skills, we're just using the rest of the skills. We have some ring. And what was it, guys? Tier 5. Super fast, super easy, hardcore. Just gonna do some note. Just going to alt elementalis. I'm using Flame Feeder right now. So yeah, just gonna carry on with this. Why am I using the Flame Feeder? I change this all the time, guys. I changed yesterday. I was spending like 5 hours to reading this all through, figuring out. So that's the elementalis, but the second one I'm using the you deal 10% multiplicative increase direct damage to burning enemies. So from every source, 2 burning enemies, and everything is burning, so every damage is applied more. Okay, though, so if you have some questions, or if you just wanna take a look, I am playing on hardcore. You can see me on the Twitch. I'm going to stream on daily basis, so feel free to jump and just ask question or just general chat, because my stream is just general chat about Diablo. So if you have a spare time, you wanna jump and talk about Diablo, just feel free and come and chat with me. Come and chat with me. I might not chat a lot right now, just simply because of the hardcore. I need to be focused on the game, but when I'm going to reach level 100 and I'm not going to die, then I will swap to the softcore, and then I can talk all the time with you guys if you wanna talk. with some friendly person whom playing Diablo. So that's it for now. Thank you very much guys for watching. See you guys in the next video and see you maybe on the stream. Take care and bye for now.